This is Christopher Moldong of Chris's Storytelling Corner. Today I'm going to do a manga review for Skip Beat volumes 29 and 30. Next time I'll have a manga review for Skip Beat volumes 31 and 32, an anime review for Shimoneta, and a movie review for Crazy Rich Asians. Check out my Twitter page and author's Facebook page. Links to all these will be provided on the description. I'd really like to hear from you guys as well, so leave any comments and make sure to subscribe and share this channel as well. So the way that this is going to work is that I'm going to give a chapter by chapter recap of volume 29 and then give my thoughts on the volume and do the same for volume 30. So let's begin the recap with volume 29 of Skip Beat. So in chapter 171, Kyoko thinks about her feelings for Ren, and it started when he kissed her cheek a while back. Kyoko bumps into Mr. Kojima, who's a co-star of theirs, and who gets some women to dress Kyoko up. The party for the ending of Dark Moon has started, and Ren and director Ogata thank each other. Kyoko gets totally made over into a grown up beauty, and Kyoko goes to the party with Mr. Kojima, and Ren and Kyoko see each other. In chapter 172, Ren gives Kyoko his gentlemanly smile and is pretty much angry with her, even though he's giving her a smile. Director Ogata thanks everyone, and there are interviews with the Dark Moon cast. Mr. Kojima asks Kyoko for them, like Kojima and Kyoko, to go out, and she agrees as a way to pay him back for, dressing her up and whatnot. Kyoko thought that it was a joke though and tells him that she can't go out with him because she made a vow to protect her purity forever. Ren Ren gets Kyoko away from Mr. Kojima by telling her that her interview is about to begin and walks with her. They sit down to wait for the interview to happen, and so they're on some couches right now that are kind of away from everyone. And Ren tells Kyoko that they're being interviewed together. He then lectures her about being dressed up the way she is, arm in arm with a man. Kyoko gets into her Natsu persona and asks Mr. Suruga if he wants to have his way with her. In chapter 173, Shoko watches Kyoko's and Ren's interview on TV and remarks on how different Kyoko looks. Sho comes into the room where Shoko is, but she doesn't want him to see Kyoko, so she gets him away from the TV. The next day, Kyoko sees Miss Momose, and Miss Momose doesn't tell her, but thinks that Kyoko and Ren look really good together. Kyoko recalls her talk with Mr. Suruga when she took on her Natsu persona, and Mr. Suruga counters with his King of the Night persona and asks if he shall have his way with her. Kyoko gets scared off, but Mr. Suruga tells her it's just a joke and wouldn't do that. President Lori calls Kyoko and tells her to do her work well tomorrow, as it's finally time for the heel siblings to get to work. In chapter 174, Ren meets with President Lori and thinks he's scheming something. Lori reveals that he overheard a conversation with Ren and Kyoko and was hiding in a nearby statue. Ren reveals that he chose Kyoko instead of Rick, which seems to be a childhood friend, and that that Ren will win against his darkness. Ren will act the roles of Cane Hill and Blackjack until the very end. So in chapter 175, they explain the plot of the movie, Tragic Marker. We're introduced to Mr. Murasame. We'll just call him Murasame. And he's talking with people about how they don't know who Cane Hill is. Director Kanoe shows up, looking really pale, and Cane Hill makes his way to the set and scares everyone. Setsuka was apparently behind him. So Setsu was behind him. Murasame sees Setsu bringing drinks to Cane Hill, and he approaches her, asking what street corner he performs on. In chapter 176, Murasame talks to Setsu and mentions that they're more like lovers than siblings. Cane Hill confronts Murasame and tells him that he'll kill him if he gets close to Setsu. Cane Hill and Setsu meet privately with director Kanoe to explain the whole situation, from which they turn back to Ren and Kyoko. Kane Heel and Setsu then eat lunch together, and Marasame comes in and tells him to get ready. Kane Heel asks what happens if he refuses, and Marasame responds by telling him that he'll force him to obey. Kane Heel then dares him to try it, and that's how the volume ends. So, some thoughts. Kyoko's feelings for Ren, huh? We're there, and that's a good thing. I mean, we've been there. We've known that she has a thing for Ren, and now it's just becoming more and more apparent. People seemingly are starting to notice. Miss Momose kind of notices, hey, they're kind of together. They kind of look good together. We'll see where this kind of leads to. Obviously, with them being the heel siblings, um, we gotta see if they can stay in character. The Dark Moon Party really showed, obviously, that Kyoko can totally make herself over into like a totally different person. Um, we officially get to see the end of Dark Moon. I can't imagine we'll see Ogata again and whatnot. Um, the character of Mio, I can imagine going by the wayside, and same with Katsuki's Ren. So it's kind of good. I like that they're kind of tying up that loose end because the Dark Moon stuff was just such a big part of the story so far. So it's nice to see it kind of like tied up and whatnot. Looks like President Laurie's got a scheme going on. He seems to know a lot about Ren and probably the darkness inside of Ren, and maybe this is the way to relieve Ren of that darkness. I don't know what President Laurie is scheming, and then like it seems like Kyoko is a part of this scheme. Um, if it works out, President Laurie will get, in a sense, he kind of he gets a lot out of this. He seems to get a kick out of this, seeing this drama unfold with Ren, Kyoko, and whatnot, and the whole love me stuff. I mean, the whole idea of the love me stuff was, for them to find love again. And it looks like Kyoko might loves Ren. Ren seems like Kyoko. Ren's got some darkness. President Laurie is kind of like the fixer, and he acts like it. We're getting into this tragic marker arc. Introduce the guys like Murasame, who doesn't know, none of these people know that Ren Suruga is Kane Heel. They all assume that Kane Heel is a real person playing this blackjack BJ guy. They don't know that Setsu is really Kyoko as well. So that should be really interesting because, you know, Kane Heel, Ren being the actor that he is, and Kyoko being the actor that she is, I mean, they can't really break character, you know. Like so, Ren has to kind of live in this darkness of of whatever Kane Heel is, and Murasame is like some tough guy, up and coming actor that sees Kane Heel as something of a threat. So now it's just kind of like, how far does Kane Heel go? You have Murasame kind of challenging him, Kane Heel telling him that he'll kill him. I mean, violence can easily happen here. We just don't know. And Setsu's kind of there to kind of, I guess, be something of a go-between. And Kane Heel and Murasame obviously are antagonistic towards each other. Kane Heel seems to be like the baddest dude on the planet, and Murasame thinks he's a one bad dude himself. So, you got two like alpha male type characters here, and we kind of have to see how this goes. Director Kanoe seems to know what's going on, but even he seems to be caught up in like Kane Heel, and scared of the guy, even though he knows that that's Ren Suruga. And then at the end of the volume, we know that Kane Heel kind of challenged him, like, like, what if I refuse? Then I'll make you obey, Murasame says. So, once again, there's a lot of tension being made right now, and Kane Heel, the type of person that he is, just kind of invites that sort of tension. So before we get into the next volume, I'd like to plug my author's website at www.chrismaldon.com, and you can read a new blog post on there every week. Also, do you like anime? Do you like action, adventure, and fantasy? Then buy my book, The Mustard Prince in the Condiment Kingdom, for just $4.99 via ebook on Amazon.com or on my author's website. Links to buy it will be provided on the page description. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel as well. So, on to volume 30. In chapter 177, we're shown that Murasame was a good fighter. He looks like he's regretting challenging Kane Heel, though. Kane Heel talks to Setsu, and he isn't wearing that watch. I think it's Rick's watch, or the watch that doesn't move, that's like placed at a specific time. Ren goes to the restroom and puts on his contact lenses. In chapter 178, Kane Heel as BJ comes into the set, and everyone is scared. BJ is going to do a fight scene with Murasame's character, Koji. So it's BJ versus Koji. Kane Heel tells Murasame that he pities him. They start the fight scene. And in chapter 179, something unexpected and off script happens. BJ and Koji have their fight scene, but no one knows if they're fighting for real or not. The fight scene ends with BJ pointing a knife at Koji's neck, and then they cut the scene. The director cuts the scene. However, Murasame is frozen for a second. Murasame thinks about the fight scene, is impressed by Kane Heel's fighting skills, and believes that Kane Heel has killed someone. Setsu contemplates who was controlling BJ's body and who this person was during that fight scene. Suggesting that like it was someone else there that wasn't BJ, Kane Heel, or Ren. You know? In chapter 180, we see Kuon attacking various people, it looks like in a flashback, that may not be Japanese, possibly American. Setsu tells Kane Heel that he was smiling when he fought Murasame, but he doesn't realize that he was smiling during that time. Then we see Kane Heel, well, seemingly as Ren now, in bed, covered by a blanket, remembering being called a murderer. Setsu goes out, but when she comes back, Kane Heel is standing in the hallway, waiting for her with the blanket over him. He looks kind of scary, actually. He looks kind of like this ghostly, ghastly character. In chapter 181, Kane Heel and Setsu sleep in the same bed. Setsu sensed that something wasn't right with Kane Heel. He spread out his arms and told her to come to him when they were in the hallway, and she did that. Kyoko, so she turns back into Kyoko and senses that Ren's been fighting something since he started playing Kane Heel. In chapter 182, Setsu apparently fell asleep standing up with her eyes open. Kane Heel gives Setsu pants to wear, as he doesn't like that she kept wearing like really short shorts and whatnot. They walk to the set, and the director meets up with them and tells Kane Heel that he's needed for makeup. Kyoko calls Yashiro to ask about something with Mr. Suruga. But Yashiro broke the phone because he was holding it with his bare hands. It's kind of like this running gag in Skip Beat, in a sense. Before Kyoko could say something, at the end of the volume, Kyoko calls President Lori. So, some thoughts. You know what? We're getting more into Murasame. He seems like a serious actor, something of the third wheel antagonist. And since he's not a bad guy, but he seems to be something of this roadblock that, you know, Kane Heel has to go through. And I mean, we can already tell that Kane Heel, I mean, the fight scene kind of proved it. The BJ's fight scene with Cody proved it. Kane Heel is, Murasame might be tough. Kane Heel is tougher. I mean, we kind of get this idea, and that in a sense kind of makes Murasame more of a pest than a threat. I have to say, if there's one criticism here. Turns out that Kane Heel was smiling during that fight, though, and once again, it goes like, who is, you know, like with Ren, does Ren have like multiple personality disorder or something? That thing, it just came to my head now. I'm like, okay, yeah, he can play Kane Heel. He's got this darkness, but he's also Kuon, and he's Ren Suruga, and Ren Suruga is not his real name, but he's also playing BJ, and dude's messed up. You know what I mean? It's like, and the guy when he was BJ as he's fighting Koji may have not been Kane Heel, but some other guy. Multiple personalities, so right there. I don't know, maybe. Um, maybe it's Kuon. You know, I think Kuon is like, if Kane Heel's evil, Kuon seems to be like the murderer. You know what I mean? I don't know, but like, there's something up with Ren going on, and we're seeing Ren's past as Kuon, and we're finding out that maybe Ren Suruga, when he was Kuon back in the days, not when he was a kid, but more when he was a bit older, could have murdered someone. He seemed to be a guy, Kuon, who got into fights, who bloodied people up, and may have murdered someone. We don't know who that is. We don't know who's the person calling Kuon the murderer. You know, there's a lot of questions with Ren's past that needs to be answered, and it seems to be haunting uh, Ren. You know, he's struggling with playing Kane Heel slash BJ because of it. And then, you know, you got this thing with Setsu's kind of in there to kind of mitigate that, you know, to kind of lessen the pain, you know. But Kane Heel, you know, you can tell he's having a hard time. He's going into the hallway looking like a ghost, telling Setsu to come to him and sleep in the same bed. You know, this guy needs help. Setsu is the person right now that can kind of that seems to be stopping him from going to the proverbial dark side, you know? Um, as Ren keeps struggling to play Kane Heel and BJ and to realize this darkness that's inside of him. Setsu, I think it is at that point, Kyoko called President Lori at the end of the volume. It's going to be really interesting what that conversation's all about. If anyone seemingly knows about, you know, Ren's darkness, it's President Lori. And it seems like he was expecting Kyoko to call him. So obviously he was scheming something. And it kind of seems like we still, you know, they're still going with Tragic Marker. So we're still going to go deeper into this, seeing how Setsu falls into place, how Ren falls into place, you know, how he's able to play Kane Heel. Is the big reveal going to happen anytime soon? You know, that Ren Suruga was actually Kane Heel. I don't know if it's going to happen anytime too soon, but like, it's eventually going to happen. Probably a couple volumes ahead, you know, because you know that they're going to announce this big thing. But that should be interesting as well. But yeah, we'll see what the next one, what this big phone call is with Kyoko and Lori, and then Yashiro might be a bit involved as well. Um, and then, you know, it seems like we're going to continue on with Tragic Marker with like Kane Heel and Setsu as well. So that's all for today. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment to this channel. Thank you for listening to this manga review. Next time I'll have a manga review for Skip Beat volumes 31 and 32, an anime review for Shimoneta, and a movie review for Crazy Rich Asians. Thank you, and until next time.